Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So welcome to Tiffen Tech Day and Stabilizer Expo. I'm Charles Papert. I'm a DP and director and former Steadicam operator, and I'm honored to have once again been asked to host this panel. So I hope you all had a great Cinegear, lots of great toys to gawk at, and of course the best part, which is meeting up with old friends and talking shop. Before we start along those lines, I just want to take a moment to honor two gentlemen who were very deeply ingrained in the Steadicam community. Walter Klassen left us last month. He contributed many innovations to this industry, but his name will always be synonymous with the back-mounted harness that assisted and extended the career of a lot of operators. And Terry West, currently in hospice, who was instrumental in the engineering team building some of the earliest Steadicam models, and later did repairs and built custom mods and cables for so many operators. And you know, Walter and Terry had such a deep love of Steadicam and Steadicam operators, and in return, they were really beloved by the whole community. So they're in our thoughts right now. So today, we are continuing our Stabilizer Expo series, That Steadicam Shot and How I Got It, with a special focus on shots that integrated the Steadicam Volt system. Okay, so how many operators that own or use the Volt system? Hands up, please. Okay, so that's like a third of the room. So I'll do a little bit of explanation for those that aren't familiar with it. The Steadicam Volt is a device that mounts to a variety of stabilizers and functions as a motorized assist, providing artificial inertia and level assist to the rig to allow for more precise framing under challenging conditions. Crazy esoteric if you're not a Steadicam operator, but basically it helps you be better. So we're not going to go too much deeper into the tech of it, although the guys might mention a few things, or at least I'm not going to go into it because not being an operator, my understanding is limited. But of course, outside, the Tiffen folks will be more than happy to show and demonstrate for you what the Volt does. Now, this past year has had two great milestones for the Volt. One being the imminent release of the Volt 3, which adds the missing pan axis to the existing roll and tilt stabilization. And the other being the Motion Picture Academy awarding a SciTech award to the Volt team nearly 50 years after the original Oscar win for the Steadicam. And that was on top of the Emmy Award last year. So congratulations to the engineering design team, Steve Wagner, Robert Orff, Jerry Holloway, and some guy named Garrett Brown. Yeah. That's them. And along with, of course, Steve and Andrew Tiffen. So my own perspective on the Volt, from having knocked around with ye old-fashioned methods of taming the rig, such as antlers, gyros, expanding out the components, adding weight to the outer edges, spells, incantations, muttered whispers and threats, I could easily visualize how the Volt would be a great boon to newer or less experienced or limited experienced operators. But I didn't have a sense of how it would elevate those operators like these guys, who are already very adept with a standard instrument as we have known it for the last 50 years. But I've had a sneak preview of what they're going to be presenting today, and suffice to say, mind blown. So let's dive in. Please join me on the stage, Brian Freesh, Colin Hudon, and Neal Bryant. Unfortunately, Ari Robbins is sick today, so he couldn't join us. I'm going to show his shot anyway because it's amazing. Duh. It's Ari's shot. So I've known all of these gents from the early stages of their careers, and I've been lucky enough to have them all operate for me at different times. And yet, amazingly, they still agreed to share a stage with me, so that's good. Starting to my left, Brian Freesh, who counts amongst his many credits Babylon, Gaslit, Insecure, Westworld. Yes?
Yes.
You did, didn't you? Okay,
yeah,
good. Yeah. 134 episodes of American Ninja Warrior. 134. One of my favorite examples of his work is the Childish Gambino video, This Is America. Do you guys remember that? If you haven't seen it, look it up.
Is there a single no?
It's killer, yeah. What was it?
Is there a single no?
Yeah, you never know. It's a few years now. I think it's worth revisiting, yeah.
7 years.
Now, just yesterday, Neal discovered that if you type in best Steadicam operators into Google, the AI results are slightly different each time you type it in, but Brian is always included somehow. So clearly you were doing something right with our robot overlord, so
yes.
I'd say keep that up.
I always say thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, AI robot. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Freesh.
All right. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Wow, that was, I wasn't expecting the mention of the AI. Hi, I guess, am I supposed to talk myself or just start going into the shot?
Just, yeah, you go nuts.
Go nuts. Okay, well, it all started 43 years ago. So this shot, so when Charles asked me to do this, it was interesting because I've had, I was trying to think of a specific shot that I've done that like really sells the advantages of the Volt, as opposed to just, oh yeah, that probably made it better or whatever. And unfortunately, a couple of my favorites just didn't make the cut of the project. But I just happened to do this little commercial a couple months ago where you know, I knew we were going to have the talent, this big talent. We were only having them for 4 hours, and we were going to have a few hours ahead of time to rehearse the shots and stuff. But I didn't have any indication of anything crazy. But when I showed up, you know, the DP described to me the initial concept of the shot, which was definitely a crane shot, as he described it. And he says, but we couldn't fit a technocrane in the space, plus maybe couldn't have even afforded one. So since we have Steadicam, we're going to do it a little differently, and here's the new design. And the new design was great, would have been a perfect Steadicam shot, but I, in my infinite wisdom, looked at the lighting and looked at the space, and I said, well, what would you say if I said I could maybe achieve the shot that you originally designed on Techno? To his credit, he didn't laugh at me, but he did. You could tell he didn't believe it. And he said, well, we have time to rehearse, so if you want to try it, great, but no pressure, no pressure. If you can't do it, we'll just do it the other way. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And with that, I feel like we should
let's
show
watch the
it.
shot.
Yeah.
They say the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so, after decades, we find ourselves standing before the evolution of automotive science, where innovation meets an icon. The dream continues as a new frontier awaits. Where DeLorean awaits.
That's the shot. Yeah, right? Nobody did. I didn't either. So that was the Technocrane version of the shot, but we did it on Steadicam. And is anybody at all like wondering even how it was achieved, or is everybody pretty much on board and probably has an idea?
Oh, I think you
Nobody's
can go through
wondering.
it. I
Nobody's wondering.
didn't know.
No. I just wanted to see how much description I read. So I have done for years, and I was just talking to Neal about it. Like we've both done this, high-low mode. I've actually been, you know, Steadicam operators will talk about the no man's land between high mode and low mode. I've never believed it existed because I can get. There's a big overlap between what I can do in high mode, how low I can get, and how high I can get in high mode. And if I go really crazy, I can get really high in low mode. And we should probably pop up that still now. So that's low mode with the lens at my eye height. And that's not for this shot. This was for something I was doing last year. I was trying to prove to somebody I could do something like this. That's a 15-inch arm post that I bought from Charles Papert over a decade ago. Don't use it with a heavy camera. There's a lot of leverage there, but when I'm doing something light, I'll use it. So for this shot with Patrick Stewart, I knew I had clearance above. I knew I wasn't going to shadow anything with the lights, and I'll be super honest. If the Volt didn't exist, I would have 100% had the confidence to say I might be able to do that shot. I would not have had the confidence that it would be repeatable. So what I did on this was I said, you know, with the Volt, I'm probably not going to have a horizon issue. I'm just going to have to worry about everything else, and I don't have to focus on that. So I did sort of a trial run with the 15-inch post, with a stand-in. And it was also like, that's a high chair. Like, that's not this height. It was even higher.
Like a throne.
Yeah, it was kind of like a throne, yeah. And so I put the 15-inch post on it, and I did it. And it wasn't perfect, but it was actually like better than any of us, including myself, expected for the first take. So I said, okay, we can probably do this. And so I talked to the grips, and we didn't have a huge complement of Apple boxes. We didn't have any steel deck, but we actually ended up building a platform of Apple boxes with steps. Unfortunately, we couldn't like get a ramp going. A ramp would have, there are micro flaws in that a ramp would have significantly helped with. So we built the Apple box platform. I actually went to a slightly shorter post. And then I practiced it a few times and like was really nailing it with the stand-in. So I was feeling good, and we had like a lunch break, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna chill until lunch, rest. This kind of thing is not easy to like do take over and over and over again and not get tired. So I did a few takes, got good, went to lunch, came back, did another few takes. They were beautiful. The only thing was, I was getting really close to the stand-in's head. And I never hit him. I grabbed his hair a little bit once, which not a concern with Patrick. But I was getting, because I mean, we'd already taken the horns off. My first AC was like, oh, I'll just take the horns off. But as soon as Patrick showed up, he's mid-80s, I was just like, man, I would really hate to have said I could do this shot. And then, slow speed, it wouldn't have really hurt, but, hit an 84, 85-year-old man in the head with a camera. So I psyched myself out, and I started booming up. The first rehearsal with him, I boomed up 5-6 extra inches. No joke, like 5 or 6 extra inches, like top of the range of the arm. And that threw all of my muscle memory off. Getting up the steps now, I'm like, oh, am I timing my steps right? Like everything felt wrong, and I didn't nail the shot. And also, the shot originally came really close to his head when it comes down, which is a little bit more forgiving if you're slightly off. And I wasn't quite nailing it, but we got a few good ones. And then the director was like, okay, let's go to a wider, let's just come out wider, so when you reveal him, he's further away, and we'll be centered there. Threw off my muscle memory even more. I was like, I don't even know how to do this shot anymore. And I was just, I'm not intimidated generally by like big actors, but I was like, Neal and I have almost run into an actor once, and we were nervous about it. The shot forced us to almost run into them, and nervous about it. And so I'm just like, man, I don't want this to be the time. So I'm psyching myself out. I'm getting tired because we're doing take after take. Nobody's yelling at me, but I'm in my head about like, we have limited time with him. I know I'm not getting the shot. I know that's why we're still doing it. So probably the last take happens, and then they have a discussion, and the director's like, I really want to get this. Like, I know we can do it. Everybody's seen me do it. Like, we all know I can do it, but I'm in my head. And we get one more take. He's like, okay, we're just going to do one more take, and then we're going to move on, no matter what. We're doing that take, and I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I reveal. And the major issue was I wasn't centering him. Like, on the reveal, he's not centered. Like, I'm off to the side, so when you see the windows of the spaceship, he's off center, and it's just not quite working. So I'm sitting there, finishing the shot, and I'm like, fuck, like I just didn't quite get it again. I'm so upset. I come around, Patrick does his line, and he blows it. And I go, yes! And I just run to, I don't wait for anybody to say anything. I'm motivating another take. I run to one, and as I'm passing him, I can like see the director go, I guess we're going again. So he says, all right, let's just, it's fine, we'll reset, we'll do one more. And so I did something, I tried to shake myself out. I've had a couple actors actually teach me ways to like get out of your head and like get out of your body and sort of like wiggle yourself loose. And it's hard to do when you're in a Steadicam. And I'd been taking deep breaths and trying to like do like 10 seconds of meditation right before a take. And just nothing was getting me out of my head. And I suddenly had an idea. I had a Hail Mary. And I had the thought right as we said action. And so I sang a song that I knew in my head. And instead of trying to sing it for you guys, we have another version of the clip that has the song with it. And I timed it like that in my head. I mean, I skipped around. I don't know the song by heart, but it's any song with energy would have honestly done it because I just needed to get out of my head and get some energy. But what a perfect song. So that's how I did that shot. And then when we finally cut, and we'd been nervous that Patrick wouldn't even be down for the shot, so we showed it to him ahead of time and everything, and he seemed comfortable, and we talked to him, said, hey, if you feel comfortable, any point, just yell cut. He handled it all. He never cut us. He never stopped us. He seemed fine. And when he got up from the chair and was walking past me, he said, I'm going to put you in my memoir. Nice. Which was a great compliment to get. So, although he's already published one. So. That's amazing. So in terms of the vault, you felt like it just gave you more confidence in that shot? So basically, yeah, in hindsight, I'm even more certain that without the vault, it would have been more of a pain in the ass because the more I got in my head, the more things I started to think about, right? Oh, my leg hurts. Oh, I'm stumbling on this step. Oh, I'm not landing centered. Oh, I'm going to hit Patrick in the head. If I was also having to focus on horizon, especially with this weird, like here, sure. But here, and frankly, that's what was happening with the pan because I'm so up here and I would end up off center with the pan because I need to try out the Volt 3 tonight. But yeah, it's not having as easy of a time being able to judge where I'm at, even though I'm looking at a monitor. In a low mode monitor, which I don't use anyway, but I want to, but it wouldn't have helped because it wouldn't have been visible. So I'm looking way up there at my monitor. A Trinity style on your gimbal would have been nice. And I would say this shot should never have been on Steadicam. It was a logistical solution to the problem at hand, and the Volt made it significantly more of a confident thing. The Steadicam solution, if we just hadn't worried about trying to replicate the techno, was just we'll go center as long as we can, and then we'll come off to the right, reveal him coming into frame left, and then we'll just wrap around the other way. And that would have been fine. But the director was already dismayed before I even met him. Like I was finding out that he's like, yeah, it's a compromise. He's fine with it, but like he really wanted to do that techno shot, and he knows he can't get it. And I was like, can I get it? And then of course now I'm the guy that has to deliver once Patrick Stewart shows up. So being as nervous as I was about like hitting him and then all the problems that caused me, I guarantee I would have gone. I would have had to have made it a thing. I would have had to say, oh, we're in space, so we're floating now. I would have had to turn it into an aesthetic and just say, we're embracing this, guys.
That's funny. And also just to point out for the non-Steadicam operators especially, generally speaking, Steadicam is sort of within your body sphere. It's sort of at the same place as your body, but high-low mode, it's like it's moving day and you're carrying a stack of heavy boxes above your head as you're walking backwards downstairs, right? Yeah. It's this very strange thing where the weight is so much, the mass is above you, let alone, as Bryant points out, your hands are way up here, so you don't have that same kind of tactile sense of being in your little sphere. Does that sound right, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. The center of gravity being up there, like, I was worried about just tipping over. And I mean, I had a grip, and he did actually have to keep me from falling on Patrick once. I mean, it wasn't like, I could have maybe caught myself, but he made it for sure that I didn't fall. But yeah, like, if you're not sure-footed enough, and I have to push it away from myself to get over him, too, because the chair is also, more closer to this wide than it is to that wide, so.
So amazing, yeah. So it's obvious to see how, with all that you had going on physically, having the Volt give you that sort of help from behind, so you didn't have to think as hard about the things that normally would just fall into the pocket, right?
Yeah, legitimately, I was thinking about it that night on the way home. I called a friend on the way home and was very much like, there's no way, like we would have had to stop. I would have had to just switch to the other shot. Probably. I mean, and even if I'd gotten it without the Volt, it wouldn't have been as good. He was looking for a techno shot, right? So like it wouldn't have been as solid. And it has little whatevers, but I'm happy with it.
It's in space, as you said.
Exactly.
All right, we'll do a quick question. We're going to do a Q&A after, but let's do it. Go ahead, Anna.
Is there a way that you could have done it the other way, starting on hand talking and then go up? Would it be maybe easier, or that doesn't work that way?
Like reverse the shot?
Yeah, reverse. Like if you would turn to you, say the line, and then you come around and boom up, would that be a possibility?
And are you asking just to, like, logistically how chill is that, or are you asking could we have done that to get, like, reversed it or something?
Just because you're so worried about hitting him.
Yeah.
I wonder if it had been easier for you to boom up, so you know that you were out of
Yeah.
instead of you walking back, it would have been easier to just walk up.
I mean, a literal reversal of the entire shot would have been easier because when I'm going over him, I'm going forward instead of backwards physically. So it's just an easier walk. Otherwise, like I knew I was boomed up enough every time because I was booming up too far. But so I wasn't really worried about that, and I knew he would yell cut. So like I was more worried about like am I just going to be off a few inches and I'm going to scrape the top of his skull or something? But yeah, going forward would have been easier, but I don't think it would have worked for the
overall piece.
For the piece, yeah.
And I think that's a great point. Let's table the further thing on that. But I'm just going to say one thing because we want to get through all the shots, and then we have time. We'll do it in the Q&A. But that is a fascinating thing as a Steadicam operator, and as a camera operator in general, when you realize there is an easier way, which means the shot may be better as a result, and trying to pitch that to a director and or a DP who may be resistant to that change, and you don't want to kind of go, it's harder for me to do it. You want to say, it's better if we do it this way. The results will be better, it'll be cleaner, and if you have the explanation of the why and the chance to show it, sometimes everyone goes, oh yeah, okay, we're all on the same page. I have a little bit of an advantage of that when I'm directing or shooting because I already can start to see when an operator is struggling with something. I may have even thought about it ahead of time, and I might call them up and say, which is the better way for us to do that? I think, Neal, you and I have done that before in the past. Yeah.
Yes.
When I go, I'm thinking about this shot. Should we do it this way or this way? You know, and he's like, damn it, Charles, you've already got this all dialed in. What am I going to do? Show up and pan and tilt? Anyway, thank you so much, Bryant. We're going to keep things moving along.
Unfortunately, Ari Robbins wasn't able to be here today, but he recorded a narration for this clip.
My goodness, the work that he's done. Films like La La Land, Everything Everywhere All at Once, White Noise, music videos for everybody under the sun, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Radiohead. He's turning some really incredible work. And he did the shot on the film Bardo, which we're going to take a look at right now.
Okay, so this is what I love about the Volt. Starting off, I start in that boom position. I can lock it, hit my button, boom down, and not even worry about anything coming. And then the best part of that is you go right into a spin, which is all fine and easy because you know your roll isn't going to be applicable. I have a little headroom adjustment. You can see right there when we settle. What that is the Volt was set for the position before to get me through that doorway nice and smooth to make that boom work right off the top. Now that we're in here, and you could have seen that line on the ground, all I have to literally do, because of the Volt and how well it works, I literally trace that line with my feet, put the horizon where I want it, and then it's just a little practice, the old walk the line exercise. But of course, and you can see with this how wide this frame is, you would see the horizon bobble a lot, but with the Volt, you didn't have to. Now, as we come up to the stairs, I would have hit the button again here to hold this position. And then right here where we go through there, right there, there's a click of the button again to store that, because this was actually two seamed shots. So what we did there is we then had the memory to be able to use that for VFX to realign that shot for the seam later. And that's just something that you can rely on with the Volt. You can get those analytics and those measurements in real time and then go back and make the measurement later, which was absolutely vital for that. So here's another part where right here, as soon as I tilt down, I hit the button again, I start getting ready to do this 180 move up and down the stairs. Now, the interesting thing about this is you'll see the first bobble. Here's where I've hit the button again, and this is the only tell you get right there, because I was slightly off on my horizon with my hand, and the Volt was measured to return back to that moment perfectly. So what you got as you coming down the stairs at the ending is you can actually see the Volt doing its job and getting me right where I need to get to the pullback for these girls. And of course, as we come around and find this is all just normal. But what I love about the Volt and its use here, now I'm tracking backwards through doors in a very linear spot. And what it is about having the Volt is you can know once you set your parameter, all you got to do is follow your line, watch your actor, and the machine is going to help you assist. Now, getting into the final act of this room, it's to me where the Volt was just, I could not have done this without, because there was just no physical way. So as you're making your way and you're slowing down through and you're getting into this makeup room, as they go to sit down in the mirror, I have to fold into a Don Juan, which we all know switching and converting is a hard thing, but with the Volt, with that slight adjustment of your yaw and having assistance there, it makes the fear of converting into a Don Juan almost gone. So the fun part of this is right here, I'm converting into a Don Juan so that I don't overlap the character, and I can get, and you can kind of feel my lens settling in to get to this point and making sure the reflection which I took out. So now I've sat, I've pushed the volt in, I've Don Juan, I'm on my opposite side, boom, I'm hitting the button, and now we're frozen in this. And this is where it even gets more fun. So in order to get this next pan, which I'm in a Don Juan position in reverse, standing backwards, I now, with as nodal as possible, have to pan the head with this actress's movement. So again, the volt, keeping your perfect yaw as you come right back in. And then you can see that settle of seconding. Again, this is where you hit the button, you adjust to get the rig. Now, the center of the sled is literally next to that counter right there. So I have no room for error. Getting out of that first Don Juan back into this motion. And again, that's where the volt allows you to align yourself so that it will take care of the subtle nuances your body's going to do so that you can focus clearly on your framing and not having any wiggle. The next part of the fun about this is now I'm going to have to scrape right across this whole entire counter to push through our actor. My monitor's below the counter there, so I can barely see it. I'm operating for a top one. But because I have the volt in my hand, I know I don't have to worry about miniature movements. The volt's going to solve this problem. All I have to do is keep this frame and very slowly at a snail's pace, gently move in, help the actor with my dolly grip get slid out of the way. We don't hit knees. We don't hit anything. And the only way this really feels possible is because my right hand, my operating hand, is doing so little because the volt is holding that frame for me so I can just focus on keeping it close and making it feel like you never notice that we as the character, the camera, are moving through this space and getting into this final position. And I think to me, that's what... Without the volt, I don't think I would have been able to get into that Don Juan with a clear-cut intention and then get out of that with any fluidity, let alone all of the steps it took getting to that part, between the staircase, the perfect conversion where you seam the seaming of the two shots, and then that long, perfect track, which almost sets a tone as a dolly. And I think that's what the volt does. It allows you to still have the ability to move fluidly as an operator, but then become structurally set because it can assist you in those very fine points. And that sums up how that was done. And I wouldn't want anyone to watch it if it was without a volt.
Thank you, Ari, for sending us that shot. Anyway, amazing. Okay, so moving on to Colin Hudon. In the mid-90s, I was one of the instructors at the Malibu Classic workshop, and one night Janice Arthur and I spotted this skinny kid walking 360s around the rig with his hands in his pockets. And I went up and said, "How long have you been operating Steadicam?" He said, "What day is this, Tuesday?" 2 days. And so Janice and I started making immediate plans to take him out of the picture before he stole all of our work, of course. He didn't disappoint us at all. Many credits: Birds of Prey, Fast and Furious, Live Free or Die Hard, John McFour, Kaminsky Method, Entourage, Lost. And I noticed that you seem to be the king of reboots. RoboCop, Jumanji, Total Recall, Bad Boys.
I've done a lot of fours.
Yeah, it's a lot of fours. Yeah, John
I don't
McFour,
know why.
yeah. So, Colin Hudon.
Well, thank you. No, I wish I'll just take credit for that shot. Move mine to his. And then go from there. But it's just a pleasure to be here. And I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants. Like, Charles is my teacher. He told me he was instrumental in my whole life. Paul and all these people. And Garrett Brown, obviously, it was just such a wonderful thing. Anyways. So
what are you showing today? What shot is this?
This is from Birds of Prey. I didn't realize it was about 7 or 8 years ago. But it's a sequence, so sorry, it's not one shot, it's not a oneer, but and other operators are on it, so I'm not going to take all the credit, but the volt was definitely instrumental, and I'll kind of explain why after we watch it. It was a really fun, hard, difficult shoot, and you see, but I think it was over 2 days or something like that. But Birds of Prey, they felt they needed more action, so they brought in Chad Stahelski from John Wick 4 or John, all the Wicks, and so he just said, let's do a crazy sequence, and that was it. So I guess I think easiest just to start it, yeah.
This one. Hi, boys. Meeting's over. Oh, please.
Ari,
That was fun.
How much of that, what percentage of that is Steadicam?
It was a lot. I mean, but definitely specialized very low things, and we had 3 operators, but we basically shot it in 24, and then we also shot it like 250 on a Phantom. So, and that's where it really gets difficult to chase bodies moving in the air and flipping, and my whole point would be is the kind of more of aggressive operating becomes much better with Volt. Because I started a long time ago, I just started grabbing the map box. And
I think we have a picture of that.
yeah, and so, so there's, this came out, this on, I was on a Cruise Story thing, and people, I thought nothing of it. And I was like, cool. And people just started making fun of me, going, what are you doing? I mean, that's just not how you operate a Steadicam. And I didn't even think of that, because I've been doing this for like 20 years. And so, and when just things start going really fast, especially at 250 frames, you're not looking at the monitor, you're just chasing the action. And so there was a lot of tilts, and tilts are really hard for Steadicam. And so I just grabbed the map box and I just aimed down and whip pans, and that's how I have to stop it real quick. But I didn't think of anything, they just thought it was funny. So, but that's I've been doing that for a long time, and especially on Die Hard 4, the director has really embraced the idea of just, I learned from some great people like you and but Dave Emmerich's told me, he's like, you got to be more aggressive. That's what they want nowadays. And I was like, okay. And Michael Grady was this DP who I worked with on Wonderland. And he did all the handheld when I was starting kind of, and he just grabbed the map box and just did some really aggressive, and I loved it. And I was like, well, can I do that? I want to do it on Steadicam, but it doesn't look right. It's not fun. It's not as energetic. And so I just started grabbing the map box, and you had to learn it because you always want to be at a level then. And so I just did it. And so they just said, oh, it's a kind of a hybrid, ugly Steadicam, but good-looking handheld. And so but he embraced it, and so we just did it the whole time. And just gives it a little energy and a little kind of imperfection, but I think it's fun. And I think it gives it something more than just a Steadicam shot. And so that's what I've been doing. I just grab the rig a lot. And so, but you can see the Volt just really helps me. As soon as I'm whipping, it gives me some positive feedback to saying where my level is, because I'm not watching the monitor and I don't look at the level anymore. So, and so that's what's been really effective about this Volt.
Do you grab more of the map box or you do the battery life?
I do both. It's just because I had a Don Juan that really fast on a whip pan to land on her because I was going on that guy, and I just go,
Whatever ends up in the right position.
Yeah. So wherever's there, whatever's there. So, but usually it's just a map box, and you can do tilting so much better, especially when people are landing on the ground. And those stunt guys were flipping. Those are real. Those are all. And that guy did a backflip like 7 times, and it's just so bad. But at least it wasn't my fault. I chased him right, and but it's a demanding thing, and so it's grabbing the camera is really, I love it. So it's kind of given me.
So I guess with the Volt we can be more like Colin. Easier without the 20 years of.
Yeah, I mean, because I was doing it before the Volt, and then, but just when the Volt came out, I can just be much more aggressive, and that really kind of showcases its abilities. So yeah.
Is part of that because you can now work with a rig in neutral balance? Does that help with the kind of thing that you're doing or not?
It's kind of always been a little neutral, a little bottom heavy, but the Volt, and I never used the tilt. I only use the roll for, but I'm kind of embracing this third axis. I just tried it yesterday, and I was pretty impressed. So, but I mean, I've always wanted the smoothest pans and for whips and everything like that. And it's also just muscle memory of 28 years of whipping, and so anything that's changing on the pan bearings might affect me, but I could get used to it. But it just makes the booms and everything, it just gives you such flexibility and freedom. So I was one of the first people they let me use one of the prototypes, and I did a shot just down the hallway, and I didn't look at the monitor, and I had no idea if it was going to work, and I was chasing Kevin Bacon through all this courthouse, and I looked at play-by, I'm like, yes, this thing works, because I just love it. And so I was really happy with it. So it's been a game changer for me. So
it's really interesting thinking that the Volt and Steadicam in general you think of as being the end goal is stability in all axes and taking out anything that makes it look like it's body mounted. So in Bryant's shot, the goal is to emulate a Technocrane as closely as possible, and we're so used to stab heads and everything being perfectly stabilized. So it's really interesting to think that not only are you doing the rough work on Steadicam, you're also incorporating the Volt into it. Yeah. And I can see how very often when we're shooting with something that has to have energy that is rough, there's a discussion of what does rough mean, because every operator is going to bring a different vibe to that. So even down to handheld, which axes do you want to see more aggressive motion in? And you can actually get very granular in the discussions with how frenetic it is and which axes create the most freneticism. The roll axis, especially in a wide lens, is a very aggressive axis. You really feel that in the frame in a certain way, which is why, for instance, when someone wants to do an action scene with loose head on a fluid head, you're missing an element. You're missing one of the 3 axes, which is really critical. Someone should invent a sort of handheld Steadicam tool that has 3 axes in it.
I'll talk to some people, see if we can't get something going.
Exactly. I actually tried to pitch it to Colin. He's like, I got a hand on the mag. I got that one all covered. And I'm like, that's fine. Thanks for that. That's very interesting to have added. No, thank you, Colin. And finally on the end there, Neal Bryant joining us again after making heads explode last year with his shot from Barry. His other credits include The Last of Us Season 1, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is the first of a number of series we get to do together, Grotesquerie, The After Party, and I just learned that you operated a camera on Eleanor the Great, which was Scarlett Johansson's directorial feature debut?
Wow. I did one day. They did one day of shooting in LA.
Okay.
So I came in for one
But
day.
you got a juicy little A-camera credit on it.
Wow. I didn't know
You
that
did-
was.
well, now you
they
know.
were like, when I came in for the one day, they were like, don't tell anybody this happened. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's fun. See, I was a surprise to me. Anyway, Neal Bryant.
There you go. So the Volt, I've had my Volt for just over 6 years, which is weird to say out loud because it still feels like the new thing on my sled. It's been a great friend to me. It's like these guys have so eloquently said, it's helped clean up a little micro things I'm operating, but it's also expanded the range of what I thought was possible with a Steadicam. And I think it's interesting, like we're gonna look at two shots from this show I did last year called Grotesquerie. It was a very spooky, creepy, scary type of show. So the camera barely moves, all the close-ups are these like locked frames. And when it does move, it needs to move with intention. And so one of the shots is an excerpt from a 15-minute oneer that we did. And then the next clip I'll show you is just a straight push-in. Yes,
Yeah.
that they wanted to do on a dolly, but for reasons I'll explain later, they couldn't. And what I love so much about the Volt is Steadicam, I feel since its inception, has always been this like ace in the hole camera. It's like we can't get the dolly down there, we can't get the crane in there, we'll put on the Steadicam, you know? And as the tools around us have gotten more and more precise, the Steadicam is getting more and more precise too. So I just love that. Anyway, so the first shot, again, excerpt from a oneer. It's really a stitch of several different shots. So it's gonna start with an arm car going toward the Four Aces out in Lancaster. It's gonna pan onto the picture car is gonna stop, the camera's gonna push in, and as soon as the character opens the door, that's a wipe, and now we're in Steadicam mode. So let's take a look.
Nick.
He works here. He's okay.
Andrea, listen. Someone beat you, and beat you bad.
Really, I don't need anything. Thank you. You're kind. You should stay here till the fires are out. You'll be safe here.
Should she be alone?
Well, she is not a baby in a basket. You heard the girl. She doesn't want to sit her, so.
Dear Lord, what is happening? I feel like everything is tilted. Like some kind of hallucinogen is in that smoke.
Oh, well, maybe there is some kind of hallucinogen in the smoke. Look at the pool.
Should we keep going?
Where? This is the safest place for us to be tonight. Come on.
Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Need a room? We have plenty. Fire drove out all the tourists.
I feel like this fire is never gonna go out.
They always go out. Head on in. I'll be right there.
Come on.
This part of the world, we get it all. Fires, floods, locusts, all of it. But a couple times a year. When the wildflowers bloom, and the birds migrate, and the butterflies stop here, it's heaven. Though it can seem like hell.
Why is the pool that color?
It's the ash from the fire has copper in it, and the copper will turn pools purple if they have a lot of chlorine. They interact, those chemicals. I mean, that's what Nick says. He's kind of our everything guy around here. Anyways, don't go in it. It's acidic.
The color reminds me of this cocktail I used to have at this bar called the Five Spot.
Aviation. Yeah, doesn't it? Gin, lemon juice, maraschino liqueur, and creme de violette.
I'll meet you at the room.
I was a bar back in Amarillo.
Let me talk to you for a second. Listen, just a little tip. Next time, put some lipstick on that before you put the concealer. The red neutralizes the green.
What green?
Father Charlie is so happy to do this. He is glad he can do something for you in this time of need. Did you want to talk to me before he sees you? Yeah? Exchange some recent theories about our killer, maybe?
You okay? You seem nervous.
Fine. Just frustrated that in terms of our case, we seem to be at an impasse.
We're working hard. Cases get solved and sick people get better.
Most murders go unsolved.
So two different, very different sequences there. So you guys saw the VFX stitch for the wipe when the door opened. That was really cool. And as you can see in the clip, the wind is just howling out there, like Lancaster. So the Volt was a huge game changer there, but also in the exterior bit, I'm using a gyro. So when I tilt down to that trunk, that's in sticky mode, which I think that's getting a little esoteric for people that don't use the Volt. But basically, the Volt's got two tilt modes. There's normal mode, where it's trying to return to a tilt that you've set. And then there's sticky mode, where it will stay wherever you leave it. Armed car drivers here are doing an amazing job of lining that up.
Should she be alone?
Well, she is not a baby in a basket.
So a lot of this, we're not on a crazy wide lens, but it's a wide enough lens where, like Charles points out, any horizon bobble is going to feel really extreme. So aggressively tilting down into this trunk in sticky mode, bringing it back up, and I know that wherever I stop, the Volt is just going to lock it in. I'm stepping onto a crane here, and as soon as I pick this frame, just trying to stop, and the gyro and the Volt are kind of working in concert together to lock this frame for me. Still in sticky mode, it's all sticky. And so I'm trying to pan as I get on and off the crane. That'll really help hide the transition. And then I love having these sheets in the background because all the Steadicam operators in the audience can see how hard the wind is blowing.
No other reason.
Head on in. I'll be right there.
But here, because we had to do the thing in stages for light, right here is another wipe. And so now this is a third shot. I'm in Steadicam mode, in normal mode, no gyro. And I've actually had to shrink my monitor and batteries to make the rig really small to fit in there. Critical for the Volt for landing this lock-off, because I can watch the corners of the frame for this frame within a frame, and then more than that, I can look beyond to where the wood is kind of juxtaposed on the blinds on the left and right of the frame. So it's torturing me because I look and I see every little mistake. And then again, because I'm in because I'm in normal mode, when I whip for that guy, I'm booming up as I whip to get his headroom because I don't want to tilt. And now that the hard part's over, I can just kind of listen to the dialogue and float around. The shot goes on and on and on and continues, but this was the juicy stuff. This push-in, it's really funny because the last panel last year, I had just shot this push-in we're about to look at like a few days before being on this panel, and I actually told the story of the shot, but I didn't have it to show. So it's a 16 mil low going through this side door and lining up on an aisle like this. So coming around from the side, panning up center, and following these characters in our camera left and become little dots. We had a Ronin underslung on a black arm on a dolly, and there was a little transition. It's pretty thick carpet, so the dolly grip's really having to push. And when he goes over the transition of the door, every single time the camera went like this. And they took the black arm off. They tried a vibration isolator. They tried everything. They tried tuning the head in different ways. And every single time we went over the transition, you could see the transition. And nobody wanted to go to the dreaded Steadicam because I had to park in a big lock-off, of the architecture and let the dialogue run. So, the Steadicam was kind of the last resort in that scenario. But I just love showing the shot because I feel like it's basically indistinguishable from studio mode. And that would really be impossible without the Volt. So, yeah, have a look.
Green.
So I've got a crosshair, big crosshair on my monitor, basically bisecting all the areas of the frame. So I'm just gluing my eyes to that and watching for any like pan wiggle anywhere.
And if I recall correctly, there is a big light.
Yes.
You are just barely keeping out of frame.
Yeah, so we're about to look at what I was seeing on my monitor.
Oh, good.
So if you pause it here, there's that triangle architectural thing at the top of the frame. Just above, and you'll see, when I come out of that balcony, there's this huge bounce in the ceiling. And I was just cutting that triangle to protect myself so I didn't see the light. And around the second or third take, Alexis, our director, she was like, hey, I really want to see that whole thing. So, I mean, you'll see in a second how close I really came to seeing this bounce. But I mean, the Volt is like critical here because I turn the tilt, I'm in low mode, I turn the tilt strength up, and I lock in a tilt angle, right? I stand where I'm just coming out from under this balcony where I'm gonna see what I shouldn't see. I push the button, I lock in the tilt angle, and then the Volt is telling me, hey, I've got you. All you have to do is put the lens at the right height, and we're never gonna see the thing. And to be able to deliver results like this again and again and again, I think is the magic of what the Volt really is. So here, check out watch the top of the frame.
Your heart's sort of in your throat, right, when you're doing
Oh
this.
my God.
And how many takes did you have to do, and how many times did you nail it like this?
I'll say every take was pretty repeatable like this. This was the last take we did, and it was the only one where I showed the whole triangle, because I was so scared to get that close to the light, and Alexis really pushed me to do it. And having the tool and being able to rely on the tool, the Volt, and lean into it makes results like this doable, very doable. So repeatable.
Yeah. And that's a keynote. And also, I'm just looking at this. I didn't even think about it. Low mode, that kind of precision in low mode. I mean, low mode for non-Steadicam operators is 2 to 3 times harder, would you say, roughly, than high mode in terms of accuracy because of the way the rig's configured and the way you're holding it. If I was directing or shooting a shot like this and someone pitched, we can do it on Steadicam, I'd be, especially given those constraints, I'd be like, it's not the right tool for the job, but it's amazing to see it executed like this.
Thank you.
What camera?
This is the
like Alexa 35 or something around
Jordan.
that size.
What was it? Jordan. What was it? Was it the? Oh, I'm putting you on the spot.
Smaller camera.
Sony.
Oh, is it a Venice?
Genesis.
Venice 2. Venice 2.
Okay, so Venice 2. So one thing. When you and Colin were in your heydays, you're still in your heyday, but when you were in your heyday,
I'm definitely not.
Cameras were significantly bigger, generally speaking. Like, we still use those sometimes. That added mass helps significantly with all the stability, all the horizon, everything.
Inertia.
It causes other problems. And so one thing I've noticed, like I consciously think about with the Volt, is with these lighter cameras these days, I've had conversations. I'm always trying to add weight to my cameras. People are trying to take weight off for me, and I'm like, it's an Alexa 35 or it's an Alexa Mini. Like, put batteries on it. like useful weight's fantastic because it gives me that mass. But like taking the horns off for Patrick for the focus horns. I forget which brand they were, what it was, but it made it lighter, and I think they were using the Ari handset, so there wasn't even an MDR on it, so like it was super light, which was also nice for being low mode boomed up above his head. But for the stability, like the Volt really adds a lot of that, if not more, back. And I mean, it's good also with a film camera, a heavier camera, but I'm just, in absence of a much more mass, I feel like is when it really helps the most.
100%. 100%. I'm using antlers here on my base, so I can make the Volt. I can use the Volt to really lock in my tilt and my roll. And obviously, like I said before, relying on the tilt here is critical. But then I put antlers on to mimic a big, heavy camera, and this is one reason why I'm so excited about the Volt 3, because maybe in a situation like this, I can take all that weight off and just use the pan motor to make the rig more inert in pans. That's terribly exciting for me. And like Charles pointed out, this would not be like a conventional use of Steadicam.
Right.
And Jaron asked if I was hard mounted. I would have loved to have been hard mounted, but the dolly grip looked at how thick the carpet was and was like, absolutely not. So
I would actually have a question, since I would hope. I have gyros and I have the Volt, and I've actually kind of, when I'm out in location, I'm kind of fearing, do the gyros actually hurt the motors because they're working against each other? And I don't know if that's, so maybe everyone else does too, but, or is there a problem with using gyros, and could it burn out the motors?
It's been a wonderful thing for me.
Okay,
so
good.
I just have a 6x6, just the one axis that I just quickly slide onto the base and basically just move the gimbal down and I'm back in balance. So it's a pretty quick thing. But because the sled is neutral and the gyro is stupidly trying to keep the sled in whatever orientation you have it in, basically all the Volt is trying to do is, like in normal mode, now keep it where it is. And so you're sort of augmenting what the gyro is already doing. I think the time it would hurt you is if you had to do a big tilt or something.
Yeah.
But for like the exterior shot where I'm getting on and off of the crane, the gyro and the Volt together, it's...
That's great. That's good to know.
Yeah, big help.
Yeah, I think theoretically, like, the Volt's not going to work harder if you're already level, then the Volt's not.
No,
doing
if it's
a
not
lot.
level, but
Yeah.
because the wind and everything,
If it is
then
level.
it's going to be, I don't know.
That's why I
hesitated.
it'd be so interesting somehow to analyze the torque that's actually taking place, because like when I'm up on that crane, I'm getting like pelted by wind, right? So as the rig gets hit by wind, the gyro's resisting and the Volt is resisting.
Yeah.
I wonder where the load is being taken.
Yeah, so that's what I was. If you push it out a little bit, then the Volt has to
Volt's
work
going,
harder. But you don't know.
Right.
So, I don't know. Anyways, good. I'll learn something later.
We have a few minutes left. I'm going to throw it open to some questions. If anyone has any questions, yes?
This one's for Neal. When you're extending a shot from another shot to make it a stitch, are you putting an overlay of like the last frame from that, or are you just kind of trying to find it?
So the really critical one was the car door opening, right? So whatever take we liked on the arm car, wherever they landed, that became like the gospel, right? So now every time I'm at that number one frame, I'm sitting on an apple box, boomed all the way down, and then as soon as the car door opens, stepping off the apple box. But there's a video playback guy with a monitor standing right next to me, going like boom down, not too much, boom up, pan left, too much, pan right, to try to get it as close to exact, to help the visual effects guys as possible. Because it's not just a tilt thing, it's a perspective thing, looking through the background and the glass and everything. But then the next stitch, where I'm going literally through black, going from inside or outside to inside, all I really have to do is get the pan speed kind of close, Good question.
One little trick that I figured out for that kind of thing to make it easier is we send out a handheld monitor with that's showing the onion skin, and hold it for the operator so they can just go, okay, got it. It's a lot easier than having someone call out those micro commands.
I just use a grease pencil and draw it on my.
Yeah, grease
Oh,
pencil,
sure,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the last 25 years here. Yeah. Next question, yeah.
Brian, how many takes did you do with Patrick?
I don't know the number. I would guess around 7. Like it wasn't like 25 or anything. It was. I would bet it was single digit. We didn't have time to keep. Like I would have done another take, but we had to move on to other stuff that isn't in the commercial. So I don't know what happened to any of that, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably basic, but in a shoot like this, who decides what lens to use or what to focus? Is that the DP or is it you guys?
DP.
It can be a discussion. Often the director will know exactly what they want, and a DP will agree or disagree. Sometimes, I've definitely had jobs where, the director or DP will be like, okay, so I need a shot here. It's a group shot, whatever, and then I just get to pick a lens. And if they don't like it, they'll change it. But so it can be a choice, a discussion. But often the DP is just 35 mil.
It depends on if it's a lighting DP.
Yeah.
The last movie I just did was, it's just kind of intuitive.
So like the DP will actually set the focus for you and then you just do it?
No.
Because you're on a fixed focus on these, right?
Oh, no. No,
Fixed
are
focal length.
On the focal length and the focus?
No, the focus.
You're adjusting the focus.
Yeah, there's a
Remote.
focus puller, first AC.
And that's his whole job, or her whole job.
Oh, okay.
Is to remotely follow focus.
The DSLR world.
Oh,
that whole
that's
thing is
great.
just like, okay, so you guys have the focus puller.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and really, it's a testament to their skills.
Yeah.
Because these shots just aren't possible without their
especially all
skills.
that slow motion
I don't
stuff.
see any focus breathing. I just thought you just picked the depth of field and just like.
There, in the Patrick Stewart shot, you can kind of see when it racks to the back of his head. There's a little bit of a breathe there.
Or maybe that's why you guys spend so much money on these lenses.
Yeah.
They are good lenses.
Yeah.
And Neal, I noticed on your shot out by the car, there's some major racks
Yeah,
going
huge.
on there. So they were pretty shallow.
As Nisi's getting out, and that's really a testament to how good the focus pulling is when you don't notice it, right? So if your eye, like as we're booming up with Nisi as she gets out of the car, and then Michaela in the background turns around and delivers a line, the focus goes right over there as soon as your eye follows, and that's the artful aspect of one of the artful aspects of focus pulling, I think.
Yes.
Colin, question for you. For these action Steadicam shots that you're doing, specifically those low mode moments were pretty incredible. Are you finding yourself going back and forth between like grabbing the post, grabbing the battery, grabbing that box? Like, are you transitioning in between it? Or are you kind of committing to the shot with like one element or going back and forth? How are you mechanically making that happen?
I mean, that was a cut sequence, but I have my cart, so a lot of that low stuff, I'm riding my cart and just using it, but it's very hard to grab the lens on low mode, but of course they always wanted it on the ground, but it's hard. But it's just everything's a little different. But I'm always just trying to get it to the right place. So
Riding your Steadicam cart?
Yeah.
As a rickshaw?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You didn't know that? Yes, I've been doing that for. My cart is my action dolly. So
that's fantastic.
And so I use it all the time. It's great. So
very cool.
Kind of a question for everybody, but because as you were saying, like how technology has changed, become more precise, and then the Vault help Steadicam be more precise. But with Vault 3 coming out, what do you guys see the future of Steadicam? Do you see it like us being in more rooms or more on set more with doing other things that Steadicam doesn't traditionally do, or?
I think it's a good
great question.
I think it's been happening progressively.
100%.
Since long before the Vault.
100%.
Yeah.
One of my, Charles, you and I have had a lot of conversation about this over the years. One of my pet peeves ever here on set is like, well, we did one side of the coverage on Steadicam. When we turn around, we have to, even though the camera is a lock-off, we should do it on Steadicam to repeat this look that the Steadicam has.
Subtle.
The hated finger gesture.
Yeah.
I like the floaty feel.
Yes, and we are completely in new territory now with these tools that we have. And I think more than ever before, this Steadicam is 100% what you make it. It can be this aggressive, energetic thing, or it can, at times, be indistinguishable from a dolly. And I think we're going to see that more and more going forward. And I think more and more operators are going to use the best tool to get the shot. So it's just interesting seeing Steadicam rising in precision and becoming more competitive as the industry is trending more toward remote heads and matrix heads and everything else.
I will say 95% of the time that it's indistinguishable from dolly is Neal's shots.
Time for a couple more. Danielle.
Kind of a trifecta question for Bryant. Did they do Steadicam first and then bring in the techno crane? And if so, like, it sounds like you knew that would be super tricky. Did you have an opportunity to have input and say, like, maybe you should go with the techno crane first? This will be almost impossible. It was not impossible. You clearly made it happen. But did you have input on that? And then I was also wondering why they ended up choosing the techno crane shot when you accomplished it.
I was not clear. There was never a techno crane. That was Steadicam.
Oh, okay.
It was the shot design that was designed for techno that when I showed up, they were not going to do that. But they wanted me to understand what they were going for, so they just described that shot to me. And they said, but because you're here, we'll just go, next to him on the right and then finish the wraparound like we were. And then I, in my great wisdom, said, I think I can do the techno shot on Steadicam. And I won't name any competitors, but there are other tools that aren't techno cranes that people may have tried for that shot that may have worked better, the same, or worse. I don't know. But ideally it would have been techno. Didn't fit in the space, so they knew before filming that they weren't going to have techno, and that's why a Steadicam operator was called. I thought I could get it, and I'm not saying it's indistinguishable from techno by any means, but they were stoked because they had already, in their mind, they'd already made a compromise, and then suddenly they didn't have to have that compromise. So
that's one of those rare stories where you literally made their dreams come true.
Yeah.
Right? They couldn't get the shot they wanted.
Yeah.
There was a compromise, and you said, no, it is possible.
And it was sketchy for me to make that offer. I mean, it's the discussion you were talking about with Neal about maybe there's a better way to do this because of the tools we have. Like, the better way was the way that they said, let's go next to him. I could have done that, not in my sleep, but basically in my sleep I could have done that other shot. But I have my own experience in history, and I had the Volt, and legitimately, like, could I have achieved it? Could I have offered it and achieved it without the Volt? Sure. Would it have been would the Horizon have been good? Like, probably not. Like, almost a guarantee not. It was a logistical solution. Like, a very fair, reasonable solution would have just been to do the compromise shot, and like everybody would have been fine. But I took it upon myself to offer only because we had the time. I mean, if it was like, hey, here's the shot, and we got to be done in 2 minutes, I would have been like, cool, let's do the compromise shot. Like, no worries. But I unfortunately proved I could nail it, and then wasn't nailing it with Patrick, and eventually got it. So.
And I think, in the big picture, and this circles back to what you brought up earlier. If you're the camera operator in particular, and you have all the tools at your disposal, you have your Steadicam, there is a Ronin on a black arm, there's maybe a techno crane, and the shot is being worked out, and you're calculating what's the best tool for this. And maybe you realize we could actually tie 3 shots together in this and get through the call sheet a little bit quicker. And you pitch it very quietly to the DP first, and they go, "That's an amazing idea." But say, for example, it is something with Steadicam, you have to be able to deliver, right? And you have to be able to deliver in a timely fashion. Any of the rigs that you pull out, when it's not Steadicam, you're relying on somebody else, right? If it's an arm of some kind, you got to go talk to the dolly grip and the key grip and make sure that it can get into place in time, right? Because it's all time management.
I can say for myself, I am terrified of looking bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So with any tool, so I'm always very careful before I suggest something else, right? If there's already plan A, and I have an idea to tie a shot together or use a different tool, I want to be very sure that it's going to work. right? That it's not outside of my skills or the limits of the equipment or whatever. And to tie it into to what we're talking about, I mean, the Volt has made me more and more fearless to say, okay, yes, the Steadicam can do this, you know.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and I think that's probably a great note to end on. So I want to thank everybody up on stage for coming here.